this is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we are doing some geometry and we're going to look at some special cases that involve isosceles and equilateral triangles. So we've already done a lesson on angle sum of a triangle, but these are some special cases of isosceles and equilateral triangles. So we need to know what those two things are first. An isosceles triangle is a triangle that has two equal sides and the angles opposite the equal sides are also equal. So if this was my isosceles triangle and this side were equal, it would mean that the angles opposite, that one and that one, are also equal. Okay, so that's an isosceles triangle. An equilateral triangle has all sides equal and all angles are equal to 60 degrees. So, for example, my very rough drawing, an equilateral triangle, all the sides are the same, like that, and these angles are all 60 degrees, always, for any equilateral triangle. Okay, so let's see if we can use that to help us with these questions today. We will also need to remember some of the other rules that we've learnt throughout this topic, so we'll be keeping an eye out for those as well. Question 1, find the value of the pronumerals giving reasons. Okay, so the lines mean that those sides are equal. So two sides being equal mean that we have an isosceles triangle. So if the sides are equal, remember that means that the angles underneath are also equal. So all we have to do for that is say that M must be equal to 29 degrees. Okay, and the reason for that is that they are base angles of an isosceles, I'll just say isos triangle. Base angles of isos triangle. Okay, so isosceles, those angles have to be equal. Let's have a look at question 2. Again, we have an isosceles triangle, so these marks here tell us that it's isosceles. We have two pronumerals to find. We have this one inside the triangle, and we have a side length here. It says P centimeters. Well, the lines mean they're the same, so P has to be equal to the 4. So that one we can do straight away. P is equal to 4 centimeters. Okay, so our reason for that could be equal sides of the isosceles of isos triangle. Equal sides of isos triangle. Okay, now to find R. If this is my isosceles sides here, these angles must be the same. So if this one is 66, this one here is also 66. So to find R, we can use the angle sum of the isosceles triangle. We start with 180 degrees, that's our angle sum of a triangle, and subtract off the two 66-degree angles. Okay, so 180 minus 66 minus another 66 is 48 degrees. So reason, I'm not just going to say angle sum of triangle because I've also used the fact that it's isosceles. So I'm going to say angle sum of isosceles triangle. Okay. Question 3. The markings, 3 sides are all the same length. So if this one's 9 meters, that means straight away that B is going to be equal to 9 meters. So equal sides of, this is called an equilateral triangle. A triangle symbol like that. Okay, and we also know something special about the angles of the equilateral triangle. Remember that they are always 60 degrees. So A is going to be equal to 60 degrees because angle of equilateral triangle. Let's have a look at question 4. We have 2 lines for the isosceles triangle. that means the two base angles will be the same. So if this is 54, this one here is going to be 54 as well. And we've also got an exterior angle happening out here. So the exterior angle is going to be equal to the sum of the two interior angles. V is equal to 54 plus 54. So that's going to be 108 degrees. And we will put for our reason exterior angle of isosceles triangle. Oh, can't fit the triangle in down there. Okay, so exterior angle rule and the isosceles triangle were used for that question. And question 5. If you can see here, it's not very clear, but we have some little arrows here indicating that we have some parallel lines. So the parallel lines, if we draw this little angle, and we could continue it up to be this angle up here, we're forming a Z shape. Now the Z shape is also known as alternate angles, and that means that those angles are equal. So X is equal to 75 degrees because of alternate angles. And then if this is 75 degrees, our isosceles triangle here says that Y must also be equal to 75 degrees because it is also a base angle of the isosceles triangle. Okay, so that's a few questions to show you how to do this. Time for you to have a go yourself. So pause the video and have a go at these 4 questions and restart to see the answers. For question 1, we want to find the value of X here. We have some markings showing us that this is isosceles, so we know straight away that X is going to be equal to 12 meters because it's an equal side of an isosceles triangle. Okay, that was a nice easy one to get us started. Question 2, isosceles triangle again. So that means our base angles here must be equal. So 3B must be equal to 54. We want to find out what B is by itself, so let's divide by the 3. Okay, so on our calculator, 54 divided by 3 is 18. And our reason for this is base angles of isosceles triangle. In question 3, we have an equilateral triangle. So this angle here must be equal to 60 degrees. 4K equals 60 degrees, but we have to get the K by itself. The K by itself. So let's divide by the 4. K is equal to 15 degrees because it was an angle in equilateral, running out of room, triangle. And question 4. We have 3 pronumerals here to find. Well, I don't really know anything in this triangle yet, so let's have a look at our quadrilateral. We have 3 measurements. So we can find E by using angle sum of a quad. E will be equal to 360 is the sum of our quadrilateral, minus the 90, minus 75, minus 75. 360 minus 90 minus 75 minus 75 is 120 degrees. So we need a reason for each thing. That one's angle sum of the quad. Okay, let's write that on there to help. 120. We can use that 120 to find F. We have the straight line here, the supplementary angles. So F is going to be equal to 180 minus 120, which is 60 degrees. And that's called supplementary angles. And now we can, of course, get D because we have an isosceles triangle. D must also be equal to whatever F is, which is 60, because base angles of isosceles triangle. And there it is. That's the end of our lesson. Keep practicing. Until next time. Bye.